welcome to this week's episode of Leadership Soundbites with Tanzi and Michele. So this week, it's a special one because it's freaking New Year's Day. So welcome 2024. And so what Tanzi and I want to do, just want to talk about what did 2023 look like? And what are some thoughts that we have about setting ourselves up for 2024? As ambiguous as you can get. We'll get into a few more details. So here's the quote we're going to kick off with is setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. And so when you and I were talking about it, it's about, when you start off the beginning of the year, and like you and I talked about, when I looked at 2023, I had some pretty like out there goals. And the reality of it is, and we may call them stretch targets in some world, but the reality of it is I really didn't know the particulars on getting them. But the point is that I had to at least draw a line in the sand, create a vision that was out there on where I thought I was going, so that if I wasn't consciously doing it, at least my subconscious was helping me kind of close those gaps and get there. But so that's what stands out for me. And I do see visible evidence for me of where I've come and where I'm at now. I mean, I look at it to where I'm not a W-2 employee anymore. I'm in 100% with better possibilities. And that wouldn't have happened had I not put something out there. So what's on your mind about it, Tanzi? Because you've had a really, really awesome year.
Yes, thank you, Michele. It's been quite a wild ride. At the beginning of 2023, I was faced with, starting a new role that was a promotional opportunity for me, in a new city, a new team, a new organization, just a new way of providing patient care. And, when I went in and evaluated things, I was excited because wow, I thought, we can really make a difference here. And,
Mhm.
so I'm a visionary. It's just who I am. And so I envision these things, these improvements that we could make across the organization, and partnered with the leaders there, and we got to work. And now at the end of 2023, I can proudly say we have evidence of those goals that we put in place. I'm so proud of the entire team. I mean, it's been work, but we have visible evidence, and I couldn't be. Gosh, I feel so filled with joy
Yeah,
and excitement for all of us.
I love it. It's so funny because not funny, haha, but when I look back, when you say that, my brain goes back to the beginning of 2023 with you and with that leadership team. And you had, because one of your goals is to be the best of the best, right? To provide amazing patient care, create a space for your team that they're thriving, so and evidence of that is high engagement scores. Typically with patient experience, it's going to be, patient's experience is the patient experience scores. And then
Yes.
I think about the other outcomes you talk about. It's all those, and in healthcare, they usually track the defects or the negative impact to patients because you want those things to go down. And while you set the expectation, if you're honest with yourself, did you imagine for a moment at the beginning of 23 that you'd actually hit the stuff that you hit at the level that you've hit it?
No, I absolutely had no idea that we would hit it at the level. I mean, I expected that we were going to improve for sure because the only way out is through, right?
Yes.
I expected that we were going to have some wins, and some setbacks, but we learn from those and we keep going. But I did not expect that we would hit them at the level that we did, and in such a short time. So
Yeah.
I can proudly say I am truly truly impressed with all of the work that we've done. And it goes to show that teamwork really makes the dream work.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's
So,
true.
so I have a question because this is part of, if you think about leadership sound bites, and some people were going to go, duh. But when you take this vision that you had at the beginning of the year with the organization, what does it take? Like, if you think about step-by-step milestones, how do you stay focused on the work and the task and keep people motivated through that? Because it's a heavy lift.
Yeah, it is a heavy lift. It takes a lot of communication. You got to be talking about it all the time. You got to be checking on it. Like, okay, how are we doing today? What are things looking like? Hey, what are the things that you're experiencing? What are the barriers that are getting in the way? And assessing that and trying to figure out, okay, what can we do to minimize this barrier, or how do we remove this barrier? It's
Mhm.
a constant daily check-in, daily rounding, daily communication. And truly that's also a part of building the team.
Mhm.
And so
Uh,
I really credit that, you know, with that was our success.
yeah. So here's where I'll make the connection, right? Because not all leaders have people that report to them. So for instance, I don't have direct reports. All right.
Okay.
Every single thing that you said around basically keeping it front and center all the time, talking about it, reinforcing, checking barriers, doing all that stuff are all the things that I did that with me, right? To be able to manage through and keep working. Did I hit everything that I thought I was going to hit when, at the beginning of 23? No. Did I hit a heck of a lot more than I actually underneath believed I would? Yes.
Yes.
And I look at that and think, okay, what are the common themes? You have to set what the target is, right? Whatever your goal is. You've got to continually talk about it, look at it, measure it, figure out what's going on. For me, I always ask the out too, what is it going to take for me to do X, Y, Z? So I was constantly focusing on it, whatever that looks like. And then be willing, and this is the biggie, with change or anything else, be willing to step through the door when it opens.
Yes.
Because there are opportunities that show up and present themselves with care that you're providing, differences that happen that we have to be aware of it and be willing to step through the door when those opportunities open up to get us closer to whatever our goal is that we set for ourselves.
Michelle, that's funny that you say that because often that's the barrier, the willingness to step through the door.
Mm-hmm,
We encounter some of those challenges, and it came in the shape of willingness to be an early adapter, or
mm-hmm,
willing to say, okay, I think we can do this, or hey, I don't want to do this because it's too much work. And
mm-hmm,
so that's how those things kind of came up for us. And we had to have conversations about that and trying to help, the different people on the team understand why this is so important.
mm-hmm.
What's in it for me? And so I think that was really the key to our success. I don't know fully, I can't really fully say that we won everybody over and everybody's like gung ho, but people understand why we
Mm-hmm.
have to do this. And we kind of focus on, a center point. The patient is why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we're going to serve our patients and provide the best patient care that we can, then this is what it looks like to get there. And so we
Mm-hmm.
found that common thing that we could agree on, and that's how we led the way.
The other thing that comes to mind for me when you say that is, and I know you and I talk all the time, is that you set clear expectations for everyone on your team. So there wasn't this place that anyone on the team wasn't sure of what was expected. And I think that's another aspect of it too, is even though we may know the what, right? Which is the goal, whatever the vision is, whatever we're going to march toward. We don't necessarily know the how.
Okay.
But the clear expectations for me is the framework and those guardrails that people are going to operate within to get to the how.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Everybody is different and people do things differently, and we need to allow them the space to
Mm-hmm.
get to the clearly defined goal. Um, Sometimes we do have to step in and help provide ideas, ideas of how we could do it.
Yeah.
Um, but I think eventually everyone gets there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to shift us to 2024. So we have an experience from 2023, right? We set some idea of a vision of where we wanted to be. We marched toward what that was. Were we 100% successful on everything that we strive for? If you were, if the answer to that's yes, I'm going to say you need to stretch. So
Yeah.
your goals were not bodacious enough. For some reason, you knocked them all out of the park, right?
Right, right.
So if you looked at 2024, what is that for you? What comes to mind? Not everything, but what are one or two thoughts that you have?
I think for me, I just want to continue to grow and develop. I want to continue to grow and develop in my role as CNO. I want to
Yeah.
get out there and learn as much as I can to solidify and reinforce the knowledge that I that I learned this year, I
Yeah.
guess. Say.
Yeah.
Just and continue to move that forward.
Yeah. So what would that look like for you? So to continue to grow, is there one or two things that come to mind on what you could do to further along
Yeah,
that goal, that expectation?
I think, I'm going to look into some certifications. I
Okay.
That's going to be a great way to help solidify knowledge. Um, and I think maybe attending maybe some educational conferences, uh,
Uh-huh.
connecting with other CNOs and just all learning from them, and
Okay.
and also continuing to learn at work. There's
Yeah.
always things that we always learn every day.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
Things at work, so I'll be focused on that also.
You know, it's cool. Okay, so at work, it's in person, it's there, and it's what you do, and we're always learning with that. The in-person conferences, you can go, but what I love is certifications or other options. Because of the pandemic, there are so many virtual opportunities now that never existed before. And so I love that opportunity. I think part of it too is certifications. You can get very narrow focus on things
Yeah.
and not have this. I'm going to go, and I'm just making stuff up right now. I'm going to go to this, university program, and I'm going to get letters after my name. That isn't necessarily a certification, but it's not necessarily drilling you down on specific areas of opportunity.
Uh,
And so I love the idea of being able to close very specific gaps, right? And target what we're going to go after and learn. With me, it's when I look at self-employment, for me, it's about, I don't want all my eggs in one basket, right? So it's what's the diversity around what I offer, what I'm able to bring to clients, because I consider myself a conduit. So if I'm out there learning information, I want to bring that nugget to whatever client I'm working with, whether it's, hypnotherapy certification or whatever it may be. I want to bring those nuggets back. So for me, I definitely align with you on certification and learning those narrow focuses of what's going on. But I need to connect it back to what is gonna grow my business in a way that benefits the people that I support, right? So it's very focused growth. One of my areas of opportunity, the thing that I do not like to do, I'm not going to say the word hate, but the thing that I like to do the least is reaching out and connecting with people for, connections for potential clients, sales opportunity, marketing. I do not
don't
like
like
to that is not my favorite thing. So I need to figure out how to get them out of my own way with that. And so I'm going to be working on shifting the stories I have going in my head about why I can't do that stuff or why it's not my favorite thing to do. And so that's an area for me I want to work on so that my stuff is primarily associated with growth and getting really clear on some other things because I have some other certifications that I'm currently working on. So it's applying and implementing or operationalizing those learnings into the services that I offer.
Yeah,
So that's my primary thing for 24 and I'll work on very specific incremental stuff and what that'll look like. But for right now, on the first day of the new year, that's where my brain's going because there are just some exciting opportunities out there to do it. And while I absolutely love coaching and leadership development, I think there's other ways to incorporate and learn other things to have diversification with what I do and what I bring to the table.
Yeah,
So
I can certainly relate. I really feel like the certifications and just getting out there and seeing what's out there for CNOs from a from a fine tuning the role standpoint.
yeah.
It's something that I'm really interested in because I want to be the best leader that I can be for the people that I
Hmm.
support. So, and I'm really passionate about that. And
Yeah.
I'm going to be out there looking for whatever's available um, to help me accomplish that.
So here's what just came to my brain when you were saying that, because of the role that I have is, and other people listening too, is what are those things that you need help with that I can help, right? So maybe there's things that I can support you with, or I can learn different things, that maybe that's not the thing you want to learn, but it would benefit you to have some, phone a friend that has that knowledge kind of thing. So those are the things I think about too. So, if people can think about that, is it doesn't always have to be you, the one with the primary knowledge going, but in your network, who can you tap on the shoulder to go, hey, if you have this knowledge, I could really use it because I have like 5 minutes of questions for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's part of one of my goals is to be able to connect with other CNOs
Yeah.
and and just learn, just
Yeah.
have a conversation about things that come up, in operations in the hospital and just get their perspective.
Well,
So,
then where's a group? Do you have a group that you belong to? My brain just went to that. It's like, how do you get people like that together? Is there something that already exists, or you've got a network of people? Do you guys just meet once every couple months and connect?
yeah, I feel like there's a lot of groups out there. I am a
Yeah.
part of a couple, and I do have some resources. So I think I've been so busy at work and, you
Yeah.
know, I haven't had a chance to really delve into those groups. So I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna spend some time doing that now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool. All right.
for
I've
2020.
enjoyed this time. Enjoy this time. What are one or two things, Tansy, based on what we talked about, that you want people to walk away with around, basically, for me, it's celebrating 23 and stepping into the new year. What comes to mind for you?
I would say it doesn't matter how you start it. It matters how you end it.
Mm,
Doesn't
it's
matter
not the
where
start finish.
right. It's not where you are right now. It's where you're going. So stay focused on where you're going and what you're trying to do, what you're trying to.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. For me, I'll add, don't get discouraged. There's another quote that I want to, it was along that start thing that reminded me, is your present circumstances don't determine where you can go. They merely determine where you start.
absolutely.
So that one for me, when I think about that, is and what prompted all this discussion around, New Year's and all that stuff, is a lot of times when we look back, we may get discouraged and look at all the things that didn't work. Well, I want to do this and I want to do that, and I didn't do that and I didn't do this. I'm going to encourage everyone, myself included, and you, look at what did work. How much further are you now than what you were when you started this year? Because the reality of it is, for me anyway, and you, if you're setting these really out there goals, stretch goals, if you will, it's okay that you didn't hit them. But
Right.
realize where you're starting this new year is so much further down the road
Yes.
than where you started the previous year. And that's the stuff that I encourage people to celebrate and focus on. It's going to be exciting stuff,
Yes.
2024.
It really is. 2023 was out of this world.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I am so I I under impressed is an understatement. Let me just
Yeah.
tell you that. I am so impressed. 2023 was a it was a wild ride, but it was a great ride. And if 2023 was like this, I can't wait to see what 2024 will bring.
It's going to be fun. It's
It
going to be
is.
fun. All right. I appreciate your time as always. And until next time, this is Leadership Soundbites with Tanzi and Michele, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.